Mike from Know Your Rights Group and Success Coaching International, back with an important video update tonight. I've got to tell you, I'm pretty fired up. I've been really frustrated all day today. I've been so excited. I've been so positive for the last week. But man, today a couple of things just really got to me. And so I just thought, look, I'm going to make this video and hopefully this message will get through to people once and for all, because I'm just at the edge today. So we keep getting people going, oh, why do we have to get your books? Why do we have to go to your website? Can't you make it easier? It's not easy. If it was that easy, everyone would be doing it. If it was that easy, we wouldn't all be in the mess that we're in today. Okay? This is the problem, especially in Australia. We are a bunch of generally apathetic people with the whole she'll be right, mate attitude. And as I said on a previous video, she ain't right, mate. She ain't right at all. She's a bloody mess. Okay? It is absolutely insane. We've lost all our rights. We've lost all our freedoms. We can't even go outside the house unless we can justify to the policy enforcers that we've got a reasonable excuse according to them. It's crazy. We no longer have our right to go fishing and sustain ourselves. We no longer have the right to travel freely about the planet. Which is a God-given right, or a universal right. I don't want to get hung up on words because people had to go about that as well. Okay, some guy emailed this morning, oh, I want a refund on the book because I thought it would be simpler. Really? How simple do you need it to be? Okay, I don't know what he was thinking that he was going to get. Oh, let's just write one letter and it'll just fix everything. Really? Seriously? Okay, is that what people are thinking? Okay. You need to stop and look around you, okay? We are being completely controlled, okay? The elite have 10 and 20 year plans, okay? Look at Agenda 21, which has now evolved into Agenda 2030. Go and look up ID 2020. Okay, these are their 10 and 20 year plans to completely control us. They have the most influential and the most powerful people in the world behind them working to control us. Do you really think you're just going to shoot off one letter and a dozen people are going to do it and everything's going to be fixed? Okay, come on. This is why we keep saying, make the effort to learn about your rights. Okay, we have a very comprehensive website. Now, I don't know how to do a live from my computer or anything to show you a screen, so I'm just going to bring it up on an iPad and hopefully you can see it there. That's our website. I've put the links in the description of the video. It's just knowyourrightsgroup.com.au. But we've got tabs: fines, tax, banking. I don't know what the hell that is. Go away. Constitution, straw man, vaccinations, local government and rates, financial protection, our political party. Okay, we've got all sorts of different tabs that you can click on, and there is tons and tons of free information there. Read it, learn it, get your head around it. Yes, of course, if you want to go deeper, if you want to go further, yes, we have an ebook that you can buy. Okay, but I mean, our ebook's like $80. By the time you get it printed and bound and you post it, and it all goes by express post, okay, and you do all the other fluffing around and print out cover sheets and put together CDs and everything that comes with it, we make about $30 or $35. Okay, so if you think we're going to make millions of dollars at $30 a pop, you're insane. Okay, we provide these books, we provide these CDs, we provide the DVDs, the things that we do to help you learn about your rights in the quickest, easiest, simplest possible way. Because we are on the verge of complete and utter control. Go and read about Agenda 2030. Go and read ID 2020 and have a look at what they want to do. Okay, Bill Gates and his psychopathic group of fruit bats, otherwise known as the elite, want to put a chip in everybody. Okay, we covered this on last night's bonus Easter show. If you didn't listen to it, go back and listen to it. You can listen to it on our website. Okay, we talked about who is in control of who, the World Health Organization. He's not even a doctor, for crying out loud. And look at the people he's been hanging out with. Bill Gates, okay, the Clintons. I mean, if that doesn't set off alarm bells, and that's who's running the World Health Organization, that gives you an idea of who's in control of this mess. Okay, now how did they get to that point of complete and utter control? They did it because we're all blinded by the football, the cricket, the dancing with some nobody, renovating my box, cooking some crap that no one's ever going to eat. I mean, talk about train wreck TV, and it's distracted all of us, and we're all sitting there glued to the idiot box going, oh, that's cool. Married to some idiot I've never met before. Oh, yay, what happens next week? I mean, seriously, people, talk about the dumbing down of society. Okay, we need to reverse all of that. We need to reverse the years and years of education system, okay, miseducation. Okay, we need to, reverse the years of media propaganda. We need to reverse the years of brainwashing, okay, and the way we do that is through our websites and through our books. But the books aren't there, as I said, to make $30, $35 a book. The books are there to give you absolutely invaluable information. So I'm going to cover a little bit of stuff for you just so you start to understand the possibilities and the opportunities that are there for you. So again, if you missed last night's show, listen to it. Darren talked about and explained in detail why every single one of these COVID-19 infringement notices are completely unlawful. In fact, they're not only unlawful, they're actually illegal as well. So even in their own system, they're not correct. Okay. Now, not only did he explain why, he explained step by step how he uncovered why. Because again, we are really big believers at the Know Your Rights group. Give a man a fish, you feed him for a day. Teach him how to fish, and you feed him for life. So Darren said, I looked at an infringement notice and I saw what the actual infringement was, and it was issued under the Crimes Act. So I went to the Crimes Act and I had a look and I couldn't find anything there. So I went a little bit further and I looked, into the actual Public Health Act. And you actually, yes, you can issue an infringement out of the Public Health Act, but it has to be issued by a medical professional, not by a police officer, a policy enforcer. And this is how they get away with it. They put on this big red infringement notice, Crimes Act, and people go, oh, that's very scary, must be right, I better just pay up. It's all bluff. It's all smoke and mirrors. Okay? And all of this is explained not only in the ebook, but it's explained how we found that out. So it's not just blindly believing what we say, it's showing you where to look and what to look for. I mean, I'm going to give you a perfect example just here. Right? This is the Road Rules Victoria publication, okay, from the Victorian Government Gazette. Okay? This is page 1. The following document, entitled Road Rules Victoria, is published by the Roads Corporation, Vic Roads, to enable the contents to be adopted as law in Victoria. Okay? They tell you that the contents are not law. It's to be enabled, the contents, to be adopted as law. Well, how can it be adopted if it was already law? Why not just say this is the law in Victoria? Because it's not. Okay? Now, how did I know to look for that? Because it's all explained in the Aussie Speeding Fines book. It's explained on about page 5 or something. Maybe 6, 7, it's there. Okay? Talks about the road rules publication. Why do you obey the road rules? Oh, because I've got a driver's license and that's my contract or my deed or my agreement with, RTA or Queensland Transport or RMS or whatever. No, it's not. Because they give you an appendix with an FOI response that says, please provide me with a copy of my contract deed agreement with blah, 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 blah. Thorough and diligent search has been conducted. Documents relating to the above points do not exist. Okay, most people have got no idea about this stuff. Okay, I'm just going to flick through some of these quickly. Okay, this guy, can you make it simpler? The 3-step process. Okay, 3 steps, very, very simple. Can't make it any simpler, all right? First letter, it's there, it's provided for you, okay? Second letter, provided for you. Third letter, provided for you, okay? It doesn't get any simpler, okay? How to legitimately adjourn your case for a long time. Do you think that might apply to every fine, to every court case? Not just traffic fines, it's anything, especially these ridiculous COVID-19 fines. Okay? Why speed camera, laser and radar readings are all flawed. They give you all the technical information that you could possibly need. How's this? This is an excerpt from the manuals. Has a definition of the term sweep, stating it's the development of a target speed reading while the laser beam is reflecting from points up or down on the sloped surface of the target, resulting in a reading which is higher or lower than the true speed of the vehicle. So the actual manuals that the police go by tell you that these things provide false readings. This page states there are many forms of interference that may affect the radar instrument, however they are too numerous to mention. This is in the training manual, people, and they're using these as accurate scientific devices to convict you in law? Come on, okay? First source of interference, because how many are there? Too numerous to mention. The first source of interference, harmonics, refers to radar's tendency occasionally to process the wrong radio frequency. Okay? People are just getting these fines and, oh, there's a fancy logo on the top, I better send my money. Okay? They show you what to look for and where to look for it. Another chapter, how to win your case in court. Step by step by step. Again, this isn't only related to traffic fines, this is any case in court. Okay? Most people turn up to the first case expecting to run their whole, defense and not realizing that it's only just a mention. Okay? Again, people freak out because they haven't been before. These books are so powerful because they break things down, they explain them simply. Okay? This Bank Secrets book, you can see how many tabs I've got here because this is just absolute gold, especially now when people are struggling financially. Okay? One of the points that they raise here, that again, a lot of people don't realise, talks about the Federal Reserve and the Reserve Bank of Australia being privately owned. Most people think that they're government institutions. They are absolutely not. They're privately owned by the banking elite. They show you where to go to find this information out for yourselves. Okay? This talks about Section 51 of the Commonwealth Constitution and that we have a right to print money under the Constitution. Why are we borrowing it from the international banking cartel at interest, which we can never ever afford to repay? We said this on last night's show. Where's ScoMo getting this $200 billion for these job seeker payments and all the rest of it? These are the questions you need to know, but you need the actual technical ammunition to ask these questions effectively. Uncovering the truth about mortgage fraud. This is the step-by-step process that the banks engage in every single time they enter into a home loan. Okay? They give you actual figures that are reported by the Reserve Bank of Australia. Okay? They provide those actual figures, not just making things up. They provide evidence of everything they say. Okay? There's a letter, an advanced letter here that you can send to your bank. It's all provided in the book to find out whether the bank has committed fraud in respect of your particular home loan. You think that might be valuable? You think that might be worth $60 or $80 to save you potentially hundreds of thousands of dollars? Of course it is. Okay? But wait, there's more. Steak knives too, straight in the back. Okay? Wiping out unsecured loans. Again, an entire chapter, okay, on how to do it. And for people, oh, can you make it simple? Yeah, 4-step process. First step, okay? Second step, third step, fourth step. This stuff can't be made any simpler. It's all there. All these letters are provided for you. Okay? It goes on to say, oh, if you're dealing with that's if you're dealing with a bank. If you're dealing with a debt collector, again, same thing. First step. Okay? I missed a tab. Hang on. There it is. Second step. Third step. Fourth step. We can't make this stuff simpler, people. Okay? Then, as it says, for our advanced members, there's a more complex document called the advanced letter. Okay? Now, this thing talks about unilateral contracts, special purpose vehicles, securities fraud, securities audits. Okay? You need to get your head around this stuff, people. You need to understand what the banks are actually doing that most people haven't got a clue about. Okay, you want simple? How about that? There's a full flow chart telling you exactly what to do each step of the way. Okay, it doesn't get any simpler than this. Yes, we understand people are searching for answers. They are all laid out. How to handle yourself in court. Again, step-by-step processes of what to do in court. There's another entire chapter on the straw man concept. Introduction to that separation between the living, breathing man or woman and the person, the legal entity, the corporate entity. Okay, gives you actual court cases that say that these corporate artificial persons cannot contract with the living. Okay, provides actual court cases that say this. Has an advanced strategy. If you got onto this too late, you're about to go bankrupt, there's an advanced strategy to stop you from going bankrupt. How many people do you think might be facing bankruptcy as a result of this COVID-19 crisis that was nicely manufactured to bankrupt everybody and control them and control their property? How many people do you think are going to be facing that over the coming months? Okay, there's real valuable information in these books. Now, do you have to buy the books to learn it? No, of course not. You can go out and you can, troll through the internet. You got plenty of time. It took Daryl and I about 15 years. Okay, but you might be smarter than us. You might be able to fast track it a little bit. But if not, if you want it all laid out, step by step by step by step, literally grab these books. We just make it so simple. And this, of course, is our book, the Know Your Rights book. Now, the first chapter's on fines. I'm not going to go through that because it's covered in the Aussie Speeding Fines book. But we give you actual court cases. Okay, here, Port of Portland versus State of Victoria. 7 justices said that the Imperial Acts Application Act and the Bill of Rights applies. So all these people go, we've got no rights in Australia. Yes, you do. 7 High Court justices said that the Bill of Rights applies in Australia. Okay, Monday versus Gill. Police must prove every element of their case, including the lawfulness of the acts referred to. How can you tell if an act has been lawfully enacted? It has to have a proclamation certificate. We explain all of that in this book, the proper process for figuring that out. Okay, Chief Justice Murray Gleeson, no citizen can be judged by anything other than a court that complies with Section 71 of the Commonwealth Constitution. Well, what's that, you ask? Well, it's all in under the Constitution section in the book. Tax. Okay, this, again, I've been saying this for weeks. What the government should have done, 4 or 5 weeks ago, is they should have just simply said, right, no employer is to take any tax out of any employee's pay packet, leave it in there until we say again. That would have put real money back into people's pocket, without incurring a $200 billion worth of debt at interest. They could have also said, right, no business is to remit any GST to the government until we say so. And again, would have put real money back into businesses to helping them keep afloat. Okay, all this stuff is all spelled out here. Okay. Do you realise that the ATO cannot actually define the word income? Now, given the size of the Income Tax Assessment Act 1997, do you not think that the first thing on the first line would be definition of income? No. Why not? It's all explained in that chapter. They can't even define income. If they can't define income, how are you supposed to file an income tax return statement? Okay? But most people are completely oblivious to this information, have no idea about this stuff, because it's all smoke and mirrors. It's all bluff, Long versus Rasmussen case, The revenue laws are a code or a system that have nothing to do with non-taxpayers and provides a definition of a taxpayer, You can't be one. All right, despite what they try and bluff you. Mollica v. Chapman, the ATO admitted that they're not even a legal entity. Yet they write you letters with these big scary letters on the top, ATO, and they're not even a legal entity. They're deceiving you and committing fraud every time they write under that logo and letterhead. You imagine if you or I wrote under, ABC Proprietary Limited that wasn't a real company that we didn't own and started demanding money. We'd be thrown in the slammer in a heartbeat. Yet they do it all day, every day, and, no one says boo. This is the key. This chapter right here is worth absolute gold. The Commonwealth Constitution. We go right into it. We explain the ins and outs. The preamble states that you are the supreme, absolute, uncontrollable authority. Most people think the government is sovereign. The government is the supreme authority. No, you are the supreme, absolute, uncontrollable authority. Do you know that Resch versus Federal Commissioner of Taxation case says that it is the common man's interpretation of the law that's paramount? Not the police officers, not the prosecutors, not even the judges or magistrates. The common man's interpretation of law is paramount. Most people have got no idea about these cases. They're all spelt out. Here we go. Here we talk about a proclamation certificate, what it is. We show you a copy of one. We explain how you get one. Section 71 of the Commonwealth Constitution. Okay, this is a Chapter 3 court. Okay, clearly says Chief Justice and so many other justices, not less than 2. So a magistrate sitting there on his own does not constitute a Chapter 3 court. It's not a lawful court. Okay? Section 108. Every colony that becomes a state is subject to this constitution. You walk in the magistrate's court, I want to raise a constitutional issue. Oh no, the Commonwealth Constitution doesn't apply in this court. Yeah, it does. It absolutely does. Look up covering clause 5 as well. Section 109, when a law of a state is inconsistent with the law of the Commonwealth, the latter shall prevail, the former shall, to the extent of the inconsistency, be invalid. This is written in our Commonwealth Constitution. This is the highest law in this land. And most people think it's some dusty old book sitting in a law library somewhere. This is as valid and relevant today as it ever was, because we are getting screwed over left, right and centre by a bunch of muppets in suits and ties in a big house in Canberra, getting away with things that they have no lawful right to get away with, but they're getting away with it because we are sitting on our apathetic backsides going, I wish you could make it easier, Mike. Okay? Rather than understanding this stuff and challenging them on these things. Okay? Section 117, subject of the Queen resident in any state shall not be subject to any in any other state shall not be subject to any disability or discrimination. So they can't bring in one law in one state and a different law in another state. So every state has different lockdown laws at the moment. But you can't be discriminated against because of the state you choose to live in. Do you realise that? That's in the Commonwealth Constitution. This is explained in this book. Okay? If you're allowed to do something in Queensland but not allowed to, according to them, do it in Victoria, you can rely on this as your grounds for not being discriminated and therefore being allowed to do it here. Okay? This is very relevant right now. Look at the different states' lockdown laws. Find a state that's got lockdown laws that are better than yours and use it with that reference. Okay? But again, this is all available to you. But if you don't know it and you don't know where it comes from, how are you going to use it? Okay? Local government, an entire chapter on local government and rates. What you can do. And yes, there are absolutely, completely free things that you can do. You can go onto the local government tab on our website and just sign up for nothing, for free, to be part of our class action. You can send letters off to your local MPs there. You just download them. It's all free. You don't need to be a member. You don't need to pay anything. Just go to the website, local government page, look for we've broken it down into states. So you just find your state, download the flyer, download the covering letter, send it off to your local MP and see if they can answer a few simple questions about the so-called validity of local councils. See what they say. This is the perfect time, people, to bombard them with these letters. Okay? And if you've got the book, they're all there. Just click the link, download it, and off you go. All right? It's very, very simple. Okay, law versus legal. I'd mentioned this on one of my other videos. We have all been subjected to private law. We're not under common law. We're being subjected to private law. But do we have access to common law? Of course we do. But we've got to exercise our right to that access. Okay? But we're just being blinded under the colour of law. Look up that phrase if you don't know what it means. Look up Unidroit and so you can understand what it's all about. How we've had private law forced upon us. Okay? How the Attorney General brought this Unidroit stuff in completely contrary to the requirements of the Commonwealth Constitution. Okay? Look up the Libre Code. Here, Article 1, martial law, military jurisdiction. Do you reckon that might have some relevance right now with what we're going through? Of course it does. See where they got the power to do what they're doing. It all comes from this. Now, is it lawful? Absolutely not. But is anyone going to be able to do anything about it unless we collectively understand what the issues are? No. Again, all of this stuff is there. You want to go to the next level, you want to go even deeper, look at that straw man concept. Understand the distinction between you, the flesh and blood, living man or woman, okay, and this artificial corporate entity. Okay, it's so vital. Understand, do you know what the Sestake V Act of 1666 is all about? Do you understand the difference between a birth certificate and a live birth record? They're two completely different documents. Do you know how to obtain them? All of this stuff is all explained in this book. And most people haven't even got a clue. Oh, I just thought it was the same thing. No, it's not the same thing. Okay? Financial protection. Do you think that might be handy for a few people now? Trusts, private foundations, self-managed super funds. There's an entire chapter on this stuff. Okay? How to use a trust effectively. How to run under a private foundation other than, as opposed to in the public system. Okay? How to get your money out of your MLC and all your standard super funds, which are, nosediving at the moment, and how to put money into a self-managed super fund so that you've got control over your retirement funds, over your future, which are just dwindling hand over fist at the moment. Okay? Mandatory vaccinations, bonus chapter. Do you think this could be useful given what we're facing right now? Of course it is. It explains everything that you need to do in regards to the existing mandatory vaccination laws, the no jab, no play, and no jab, no pay. Okay, shows you what to do. It's got the My Will letter there. It explains how the legislation was brought in. It explains why it's unlawful. It explains so much information, because when you understand this information, okay, you can stand your ground. If you just download a letter off the internet, it doesn't really help you. People keep saying, "Oh, Mike, can't you just send me a letter, or could you just write something for me?" Yeah, of course I can. But how's it going to help you? You need to stand there. You need to stand there, look people in the eyes, speak congruently, okay? Come from a position of knowledge and power that you can handle anything that they fire at you, and they will back off. Remember that the police, the courts, they are all just big bullies. They're there to just push you around and bluff you, and if you don't know your rights, if you don't know any better, you will succumb. Look, the whole planet's succumb, all right? We need to rise up. We need to regain our rights, and we need to stand up for them. But you can't do that if you don't have at least the background knowledge. Okay? Court cases. Here's a whole bunch of court. There's an entire chapter, okay, on court cases for all sorts of things. Okay? Traffic related. Unlawful arrest. Public transport cases. Chapter 3 courts and the validity of acts. Trespass cases, rental fees, banking cases. I mean, it just goes on and on and on. Okay, again, $60, $80, whatever. Okay, it's a tiny amount given the thousands, if not tens of thousands, potentially even hundreds of thousands of dollars. Okay, that you could potentially save. Okay, so the links are up there. Have a look at the websites. Even if you don't want the book, at least get your head around the basic principles on the website and start understanding this stuff and start using this lockdown time, proactively to, at the very least, start writing letters, asking questions, freedom of information requests, notices of objection, these kinds of things. I've said it on a number of videos. We have the power. There's a hell of a lot more of us than there are of them. But we need to band together collectively. They are trying to separate us. They are trying to divide and conquer. But we can still connect through these videos. We can connect through Facebook. We can connect through our radio shows. Okay, and we can all start taking these actions, and together collectively we absolutely can make a difference. So I'm going to leave it there. I'm a little bit fired up, as you can see, but we're at that point, we're at that tipping point, and how it goes isn't up to Daryl or myself. It's up to you guys and whether you choose to learn about your rights and take action or not. It's really that simple. So I'm going to leave that with you. Hope you all have a fantastic Easter, and have a great day tomorrow. And I will talk to you all again next week. Thanks and good night.